Welcome to episode 13 of Insurance, Investments, and All About Town podcast. My name is Eric Sporing. I'm a financial advisor and owner of ECS Capital Investments. To my right is my podcast partner in crime, Tara Lavelle with Von Fire Insurance. To our left is Bobby Hines with the You Matter movement. You might recognize him from Sandy's Restaurant here in Blue Springs. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Can't wait to get and hear a little bit about the You Movement Matter. And I just said it already wrong. I've said that. This is like our third take. So I'm just rolling.
We're going to roll with it now.
We're going to call it the YMM.
Yeah.
But a little later we'll learn a little bit about your organization. And
looking forward to it.
All right, great. Well, Tara, episode 13.
I know, lucky number 13.
We were kidding Bobby before we started that you get the lucky number 13
in October.
in October.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Wow.
We're going to kick off the month.
Yeah,
Right.
here we go.
But I know last month we had Chief Bob Munz on.
Yep.
I know you know Chief Bobby, and there was a connection between Tara and Chief. Their kids played basketball and softball together.
Yeah.
And so Bobby and I have a connection as
Oh,
well.
okay.
We do.
What do you got?
We do.
So our boys played baseball together. When Trey was 5 or 6, that was back.
That was T-ball, coach pitch.
It was.
We was pitching.
Well, it started because he was with the Diamond Kings, right?
Yeah.
Diamond Kings was Steve Drollinger.
Yep.
And so that was machine pitch.
That was machine pitch, and then on to the hammers.
And then they ended up with the hammers. Yeah. So we go back. Oh God, 5
Couple years.
The kids, boys were probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. And now, how old's Trey now?
He'll be 22 in January.
He's 22 in January.
Yeah. Because I think he was a year older.
He was a year older than Cameron. I couldn't remember. I was thinking about that today. I couldn't remember because Cameron played up a year. But I couldn't remember if Trey was the same age and played up or so. So we have a connection as well.
And they're all sports connections. It's interesting. We're all connected, through our kids and sports. Nothing wrong with that.
And all when you were talking about travel ball, right?
Yeah.
Before we got on, and
we know all about that expense.
Yes, all about that expense.
We did the same with softball. It was like But that was okay. We saw a lot of things, made a lot of really good friends.
You center your whole life in vacation around it.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly right. So, well, today I was going to talk about, as this recording, the feds have come out and did a rate cut. So I was going to talk a little bit about rate cuts. I know you were going to talk about trends and cost drivers for 2026 healthcare, and then Bobby's going to talk about his You Matter movement and give us a little bit of information about that. So, Tara, if you want, why don't you go ahead and just kind of kick us off on some trends and what we can look for cost-wise maybe in 2026
In 2026,
healthcare.
perfect. I'll do that. But before we do, I need to tell you. My husband finally watched an episode. He watched episode 12. And not only did he watch it, he later asked thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
So he watched it.
He watched it. So
Only took
it took
him a
12
year.
episodes, but so I can no longer joke about that. I've lost my one and only joke. I'm going to have to come up with something else. So thanks. Huge shout out to Brian for tuning in and listening. Key trends and drivers as we think about health insurance for 2026. First and foremost, we're going to have to talk about premium increases.
Yeah.
So I know we all know it's coming. Really what's driving it, government shut down at 12:01 a.m. this morning, right?
Correct.
Feds shut down at 12:01 a.m. this morning. The sticking points from the Democrats are cuts to Medicaid and not renewing some COVID-19 and President Obama subsidies for marketplace insurance. So what's at risk is about 3.8 million people who would no longer be able to either qualify or afford health care. So that's leading to what we believe could be as much as an 18% increase just in the standard ACA market. So that's anyone in marketplace insurance looking at least, close to a 20% price increase in plans that really are sometimes often not affordable. What we're seeing for employers is maybe a little less for a perfectly healthy group, really nothing going on, like just the trend is 8 to 10%. So if you happen to be a group who also has some medical things going
issues,
on, in your underwritten plan, you can expect to see quite a bit more. So we talked about, the driving factor in the premium increase in the ACA market is really those subsidies, right? We need those subsidies to continue to make healthcare affordable. For employer plans, it's a little bit different. The things driving costs in employer plans are increased utilization and chronic disease management. So we are seeing people use their health insurance plans more, and there's a few reasons why. So mental health parity, which I'm a huge fan of, love that we can now have access to mental health resources in this, and they are covered the same, or should be covered the same as our health insurance coverage. As we use more in those, what happens when you actually use services, you guys, right?
Yeah, it goes up.
Right, your costs go up. So the cost to the carrier is going up. Another thing that drives that is, I don't know if anyone has attempted to get into a doctor's office lately for a sick visit. It's hard to do. It's hard to actually get into your physician sometimes and when you're sick. So that's pushing people to urgent care and people to ER that wouldn't normally go there, but they need some sort of medical attention, right? They need a prescription. Well, those services are at a higher cost than a primary care physician. So all of that is weight on the carrier that they are then passing along to the employer, who passes it on to...
It all rolls downhill.
It does. It all rolls downhill.
Rolls downhill.
Some other things that are driving costs are prescriptions, so pharmaceutical drugs, GLP-1s, which we use for type 2 diabetes, weight loss. Those are expensive. Having them covered through insurance is expensive, so those plans that offer them, which are few and far between anymore, are seeing really large rate increases as well. We talked about employer-sponsored plans, looking for a healthy group, just a standard, hey, everyone's market trend this year is 8 to 10%. 8 to 10%. How employers are going to look to battle that, right? The easy way is going to be, well, let's increase deductible, right? Let's pass on additional out-of-pocket costs. So we're going to pass those on to the employers. If you're an employer and you're looking at that increase this year and you're trying to decide, how do we move forward? What are some cost containment strategies? There are other options, right? So it's not always deductible where you're going to find it. It's not always narrowing a network, although that's popular also, going from like a wide network plan to maybe a narrow network plan or an exclusive provider organization, which means we've got to not only do we have to stay in network for the best benefits, but there actually is no out-of-network benefit. So those are some ways to do it. But there's also ways around those. Gap plans are becoming more and more popular for employers. So that's where we look at our major carrier, take a high deductible, and then use a secondary type of insurance called gap to fill the gap between what used to be your $1,500 deductible and now what is your $8,500 deductible. Reference-based pricing is another model that's gained a little bit of popularity. So they don't use networks. They actually use the Medicare allowable as their base agreed upon payment. So an RBP or reference-based pricing type model will say we pay 125% of Medicare. So not subject to a network, you can go everywhere, but there's some confusion sometimes either at the hospital, the surgery center, the doctor's office on how that's going to pay them. It's just a contract they're not used to. So another is ICRAs. I know we've covered that before in an episode. So an ICRA is it's a health reimbursement account that employers can use. You specify how much you want to contribute to that ICRA, so it is a defined contribution. And then a lot of the ICRA models are actually then helping people, the employees, sign up for either on-exchange or off-exchange type benefit plans with their ICRA dollars. So it's autonomy for the employee, right? They can pick any plan they want, any carrier they want. And for the employer, maybe it simplifies having to make those, as an employer, you're making a decision for your entire group of people. And benefits isn't always a one-size-fits-all. So if you're working with a broker who isn't bringing you new ideas, maybe different strategies, maybe talking long-term strategy, talking to you about where the future's headed, what healthcare may look like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you might need a new broker. Just saying. I do. I do. I happen to know one. Those are some of the major things going on right now, or as we look toward 2026 in health insurance. Right now in my world, the hot topic is AEP. So it is on 10/15. We are going to start the annual enrollment period for Medicare. It starts 10/15, runs through 12/7. For benefits effective 1/1 of 2026. Often I get people that want to know what can you do in the annual enrollment period. So there's 4 things we can do in the annual enrollment period. First, we can review your current plan. Okay, it's a good time to review. We can compare that to other available plans, and we can even switch your Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
So if you're currently in a Medicare Advantage plan, you want to do all of those things, right? You want to see what else is out there, compare what you currently have, and decide if you need to make a switch. In Medicare Advantage, that's a more volatile market. So your plans are going to change yearly. Carriers are going to enter and exit that market. So maybe your carrier doesn't play in that market anymore, or maybe your doctor no longer takes that network. So the systems that we use are good enough that I can put in your prescriptions, your doctors, and figure out exactly who takes what and who you need to be with. So
where you need to land.
Where you need to land. So another thing you can do is you can return to original Medicare. So let's say you've been in a Medicare Advantage plan and maybe it isn't working for you. Well, you can flip back to original Medicare, so that's parts A and B, and then we could attempt to enter back into a supplement plan, which is most likely subject to underwriting, so may or may not work. And then, of course, get your Part D on top of that. That's your prescription plan. You can also just change your Part D plan. So if you're currently in a supplement plan and have a standalone Part D, so that's for your prescription drugs, your pharmacy may no longer be in network. The formulary may have changed, so maybe your medications aren't covered the way they used to be. So it's a good time to sit down with a broker, enter all that information back into the system, and make sure you're properly aligned. We want you in the right Part D plan for the medications you use and the pharmacy you go to. Conversely, let's say you are currently on a Medicare supplement, and maybe the premiums have just gotten out of control with just inflation and the cost of everything going up. Maybe it's time to make a different decision. So if your supplement has become unaffordable, you can flip and go into a Medicare Advantage plan that includes your Part D prescriptions. So that's an option. Let's see, I hit them all.
You hit them all.
Yeah, those are the things we can do.
Nailed it.
During the annual enrollment period. Yeah, I did. So my advice to anyone is if you currently have questions, need to make a change, have lost contact with who you used to use, I would love to be of service. So I can be emailed at tara@vonfiresolutions.com. I'm going to hope our girl that edits is going to put that on the bottom of the screen because you will never figure out how to spell Vaughn. Or reach me on my phone at 816-462-8526. I can start taking appointments and filling out applications as of 10/15. And those calendars fill up pretty quick. So please reach out if there's anything I can do to help.
One thing I was going to ask you, and you may not, and this I'm kind of maybe throwing something out there you hadn't even heard of yet. You said something about prescriptions, right? And I saw an article this week where President Trump had negotiated with Pfizer. Okay, so you did see that, or you've heard about that. Do you think that will affect anything this year with medications in that Medicare field, or do you think that's So
my understanding of that is that deal comes really to relieve that specific pharmaceutical company. A lot of the pharmaceuticals are not manufactured in the United States.
Correct.
So he's posing a tariff on any drugs coming in.
Right.
So what Pfizer has said is, hey, we want to make a deal. We promise to do more U.S. manufacturing if you don't impose those tariffs. And so I don't know if it will change the landscape of what we are paying right now. But it does keep us from having that tariff passed on to us because they've found a way to negotiate the tariff. And so my expectation is that other drug companies are going to follow. They're going to say, hey, fine, we'll build a U.S. manufacturing plant. We'll start to manufacture it here if it means
we're not going
to have to pay the tariff. So.
Okay, I just saw the headline. I read like the first paragraph. I didn't really get deep into it, but I thought, hey,
that's how I read those things.
Yeah, right. So I'm not the only one, right? So, so when you mentioned that, it triggered. I mean, I just saw that like yesterday or the day before.
I just read up on it this morning.
Did you?
So, yeah, I did.
She's fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah.
I knew we were talking about some things, and I thought if there's one thing that might trip me up, it's like I need to know about this Pfizer deal. So,
and if that was not rehearsed, by the way, I did throw that out of left field.
You did.
Good. That's good.
Baseball reference.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're full of them today. We're gonna roll right through this.
So, well, good. That's good information. Definitely annual enrollment. If you have questions or anything, Tara is great at knowing the ins and outs of Medicare, and not just Medicare, but open enrollment for the marketplace, because marketplace opens up on the 15th as well.
Nope. The 1st, November 1st.
Oh, it's November 1st.
Yes, so we'll talk about that one next month. We'll talk about that one next month.
There's a teaser for episode 14. So,
and I just enjoy answering the questions. So that's one thing that I like to share with people is that I can just be a source of information for you, right? You don't have to sign up for a darn thing, but I do want you to have all the information you need to make the best choice for you.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Anything else to share, or you hit all your points?
I feel good. It might have sounded a little clunky, but I think I got it all.
No, it sounded good. Great information as always. I was going to talk a little bit about, as of our last podcast, the feds have come out and started their rate reduction. I think our last rate reduction was in December of 2024. That was the last time that the feds lowered rates at all. But I was just going to kind of briefly touch on how that affects everybody and kind of get out of the way, as I like to say, and let Bobby take over. And
that's who everybody's here for, anyhow.
Exactly.
I don't know about all that.
The You Matter movement is what they want to hear about.
Eric, you're getting good.
I am getting better. So just real quick, I already talked about the Feds cut interest rates. Now the last hike where they raised rates was July of 2023. So that was the last time it peaked was in 2023, and then they started decreasing rates a couple months back. But how about immediate impacts? How's that impact everybody? Variable rate loans. So if you have like what we call a HELOC, like a second mortgage, there's what we call floating rate funds out there. So a lot of banks, if I'm a business owner, Sandy's for instance, they need a new grill in the back, and they go to the bank to get a loan. Sometimes the bank will say, okay, we'll do that loan, but it's floating rate, which means it's going to adjust. And so those type of loans you're going to see get affected first. Those type of loans, when the rates get cut, you're going to see pretty much immediate impact on your payments to those type of loans. It's not a huge savings, but you're going to see a little bit of a savings on your payment. So it just kind of trickles in gradually. So near-term impacts, obviously mortgage rates, right? And so you're going to start seeing that maybe more, it might spur a little bit more buying, right? Because now rates are a little bit lower. Or you might see some refinancing. People that have bought a year or two ago when those rates were higher, we'll start seeing a little bit of that refinancing, and that'll help lower payments on, the refinancing. So these impacts are a little bit smaller on the pocketbook. We won't see those quite as immediate as the other rate, or the second loans came to talk. Your HELOCs and your floating rates will get the biggest effect.
So does that affect credit cards since it's based on prime?
So.
Dang it! I do that.
You do it all the time.
Just kidding. I'm going to wait patiently for what Eric has to say.
So longer term impacts.
Thank you.
So longer term impacts. is credit cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it takes a cycle or two to cycle the rate cuts, right?
Oh, okay.
in. So, and then of course, fixed rate mortgages, that's not going to change, right? In the refinancing world, they say if you can't get at least a 1% rate reduction, it's probably not really worth
Correct.
refinancing.
Okay.
So. Now, I'm not a real estate guy, but our friend Joey might be able
we
to help.
know one.
We know
a good one.
Joey. A little trivia. Joey was our first guest
There you
on
go.
our podcast. So you need patience for those to kind of take effect. And then, big picture, right? So the reason why we may see rate cuts, right? Why do they do them is we might be seeing a little bit slowing of the economy. We may see the job market starting to, slow down, and that's what we're seeing, and that's why the feds have come out and lowered rates. Our last jobs report was only 22,000 jobs were added, so they're seeing a little bit of a slowing in the job hiring process. Actual unemployment rate did tick up to 4.3%.
Okay.
So it did tick up. So that's why we're seeing those rate cuts. So that's kind of it in a nutshell of kind of why we how it affects you, short term, intermediate, long term, and then why we may see rate cuts, or why do they make rate cuts. And the Fed's fund rate, I do believe now, is at 4.25. I didn't write that down, but I think it's at 4.25, and typically they like to see that around 4, a little less than 4. So
Okay.
yeah.
So as a consumer, we get excited about the rate decreases,
Right.
but as an economy, it's maybe not a good sign.
So it may be, right, the economy's slowing down a little bit, right? And you'll hear them always talk about soft landings, right? They run rates up, right, to try to slow the economy down because it's just racing, everything's cheap and consumers are buying, refrigerators and cars, and, it's just fueling money into the economy. And then you've got shortages, you got inflation, and so that's why they raise rates, right? And now they're starting to, lower rates to make things a little bit cheaper, right? So they, maybe start getting a little bit more money flowing in.
Boost the economy a little
Exactly.
bit. Okay.
And so they
that
try
makes
to do
sense.
what they call a soft landing. Where's
Yeah.
that, happy medium that, we're not just going to cut rates like this real quick, and then, because then, that really could hurt the economy.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and I'm sorry, the Fed fund rate is around 5 right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Their key is always like to be around 4, 4.25. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I knew I'd written it down somewhere, but that's kind of it, on interest rates, how it affects you. So, but me, right?
Yep,
You,
I do.
You know that I like
He's
to.
going to spout some facts at us.
so-
Here he
so-
goes.
but I'm going to give you an option today.
Oh,
So,
okay.
do you want to hear about something stock market related, insurance related, property
Okay.
and casualty insurance related,
Okay.
or football?
Oh, that's easy for me.
I'm the football guy.
I was
Football.
going
I
to
knew.
100%.
All right. So here's a first.
Okay.
So the first Sunday night football game of the season between the Bills and Ravens was a night of first.
Okay.
The first time in NFL history that a game ended with a score of 41-40. Never happened before.
Okay.
First time.
I knew that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That don't count because I'm full of useless information.
Well, let's see if you knew this. The first time a team won when down over 14 points with only 4 minutes remaining.
Okay.
And the first time a team lost while scoring at least 40 points and rushing for at least 235 yards.
Didn't know that one.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
So it was the first.
Yeah,
There
a lot
was-
of firsts.
There's a lot of
That's a
firsts
lot of
there
firsts.
in that Sunday game. All right. I like to do at least couples.
Yep.
So
Let's do it.
we're going to do insurance, or we want to market one?
Bobby, what you got?
Let's do the market.
Okay.
Let's do the market.
Okay.
All right,
do the
an
market.
epic rally. April 8th marked the U.S. stock market's low of the year. So that's kind of,
Okay.
if you know, tariffs were announced and
Yep.
the market took a dip.
Yeah.
So April 8th was when it bottomed out. Since that day, the average stock in the Russell 1000 is up more than 30%.
Oh, wow.
Since that day.
Since that day.
Okay.
as of September 11th, there were more stocks in that index over 50%, 201, than were down 150 since April 8th, and 47 stocks have more than doubled.
Okay.
Wow. So,
Eric, I hope you have me in all of those stocks. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to know what the insurance
Yeah, we
one
can't-
is. Like, we can't
move
leave
on
it
without the
out.
insurance.
Yeah.
all right. Insurance keeps rising.
Yeah.
After surging 8.3% in 2024, average annual home insurance premiums hit another record high in June, rising to $6.19 for every $1,000 in coverage. Average single-family mortgage holders now pay about $2,370 a year for property insurance.
Buy that.
Yeah, accounting for a record 9.6% of total mortgage-related expenses. So almost 10% of your mortgage-related expenses, homeowners insurance.
Homeowners insurance.
Well,
I
and
know a
would-
guy.
We do know a guy for sure. You know, and I would say some of that, it all compounds, right? When we talk about any type of insurance, it's a really large risk pool. So we're all entering this same pool. So when things happen, whether they are weather related, disaster related, right? It's going to affect
No matter
everybody.
Right, no matter if it's East Coast,
Yeah.
West Coast,
Yeah.
South, North,
Yeah.
we're all affected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And insurance is not a not-for-profit
Right,
business.
right.
100%.
Right.
Right, yeah.
But we do know a good not-for-profit, don't we? I mean, I think we have a guest that might even have a nonprofit.
I think you are correct. You are correct. So let me do a little short introduction. A lot of
Okay.
Here we
people
go.
probably already know Bobby. Bobby is a man about town.
He is,
So,
yes.
But today we're excited to welcome Bobby Hines, a community leader whose passion for people shines through everything he does. Bobby is the co-founder of the You Matter movement, an initiative built on reminding individuals of their worth, inspiring positivity, and encouraging people to live with purpose. Through this work, he touched countless lives by spreading a message of hope and resilience, showing that small acts of encouragement can create a ripple effect of change. And as I said earlier, you might also recognize him from Sandy's Restaurant. Welcome, Bobby.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always like to get out and talk about the You Matter movement and talk about the community, because what the You Matter movement is about the community. That's what it's turned into. I can backtrack a little bit, and New Year's Eve of 2020, my brother took his own life.
Oh,
So whenever that happened, you know, at that time I'd been 6 years clean. You know, and he was fighting in battles and fighting in battles. My life didn't always look like what it looks like today. I don't know if you guys know that. I know Eric knows that.
know it.
Eric knows that. Eric's seen me come a long way.
I have.
So, you know, in 2014, Sandy Scalf gave me a chance. You know, she gave me a chance, and that's all I needed was somebody to give me a chance. And so in building and growing through the restaurant, you know, I remember, you know, $8 an hour doing dishes, and I would do anything.
Yeah.
You know, I would do anything in that restaurant not to have to go home because I was on house arrest. And I was on house arrest. That's the only place I could go, you know, trying to get out of trouble.
Right.
And so pretty soon, man, in 4 months, you know, she named me kitchen manager. You know, and then it just grew from there. The restaurant just grew from there. And I didn't know the whole time that I was building these community relationships with the police department and with the chamber and with all these people and all these entities in the Blue Springs community, that it all made sense after my brother died. That's what in hindsight, that's what all that was being put in place for. So when my brother died, a really good friend that I grew up with, Jason Stillwell, who's the co-founder of You Matter movement, his father had took his own life 2 years previous. And Jason had been going around town playing catch, man, with Johnny Dare and playing catch, raising suicide awareness. So I called Jason after having my brother. I called Jason, and me and Jason sat at the restaurant. He'd come out 4 or 5 days a week, and we'd look at each other and we'd say, "We don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it." We started making these pictures, man, the You Matter picture. And there's one in the chamber office.
Yep.
And man, them pictures, we quit counting at, I don't know, 180 pictures in the community. And not just this community, just they're in the Fort Osage School District, they're in the Raytown School District, they're all over. And we never knew where this thing was going. Well, then we just started doing the National Night Out and just, you know, holding up the signs, you know, the world's better with you in it. And we never had a plan. Well, it all started getting expensive. And my wife had mentioned that we better do something different. So this March, the end of March, will be a 501c for 2 years.
Okay.
Great.
And so, through that, it's given us a little bit of leverage to be able to do some bigger things. The summer lunch program in Blue Springs has been our biggest venture.
Yeah.
We got our 501c, and that kind of lost some funding and stuff, and we didn't know what he was doing. He's like, give it to me. And man, the community made that happen. Just like the community makes that happen. We've distributed over 18,000 lunches the last 2 years through summer. Through that program and through community partners, there's so many. There's so many that the restaurant, Sandy's Restaurant, is a beautiful platform for the You Matter movement. It works. It makes it work. It gives us the parking lot space. It gives us the restaurant space, and it gives us the community, which is that's what Sandy's is built on. Everybody thinks we sell tenderloins over there.
They're good.
They're good.
They are good.
And they're big.
But there's so much more that we do in the community,
Yes.
in the schools, and through just whoever we show up. And so, the You Matter movement's grown. It's grown a lot in the community, and I keep saying community because that's what the You Matter movement is. I understand that a 501c is a business.
Right.
I will never look at the You Matter movement as a business. That's not what it is. That the You Matter movement is my purpose. I will never take $1. 100% of the money put into the You Matter movement goes right back out to the community. We have very little overhead. We receive. I got to use the gas card every once in a while. We got donated. We got the You Matter mobile. You might have seen it in the.
I did see it in the parade.
And in the parade, man, and that thing's so neat because I was coming up Woods Chapel Wednesday morning, and this lady was jogging, man. She was sweating, and I could see her. She just seen the truck, and she stopped, man, and she read something on the side of that truck. Whether it was the "You got this" or "You're enough" or whatever that message might be. You get stared at a lot in the truck, and it's not because I'm driving crazy. There's a message on that truck, and that message was a gift, man. And it holds all of our stuff, and just that truck changed everything to where, man, we're organized now. We've got a place. It's not here. It's not there. So the truck was a blessing. And my heart is getting to go to the high school and starting the 9th grade health classes on the addiction and mental health. I'm going to go. I've spoken at Girls on Fire, and going and speaking at all those things, and that doesn't cost us any money when I get to go out.
Right.
But that's where my heart is, going to share my story. National Night Out stage. This will be my 5th year.
Great.
Just get up there and man, maybe change somebody's day. Because we can all sit here at this table, all three of us, man, and we appear like everything's going great. We've all got stuff going on. And we've all got family members that are suffering from mental health or addiction. It doesn't matter what your garage door looks like. It doesn't matter what your front door looks like. It doesn't matter if you have a front door.
Right.
It lies everywhere, and we need to keep that in the forefront because people. You guys cut me off, ask me questions anyway, because I can go.
No, we're loving it. Go for it.
Because I can go.
I've got questions.
So I didn't realize. So whenever I was in the middle of my addiction, I had those thoughts. Do I want to throw myself into traffic? But since I got clean, I haven't had those thoughts. So there was people that reached out to me that. Suffer from depression, that don't have addiction problems, that suffer from depression. They walk around like that all the time. And I had a hard time understanding them, but the more I talked to them is, man, why don't you guys just ask for help? Their mind tells them people are making fun of them. Their mind tells them things. Their mind plays tricks on them.
Yep.
And they believe those things, and so they shut down. And so we're in place, man, that with the bracelets, with all the handout stuff is, man, they can read that stuff. Maybe one day it changed one person, and we go to these events and stuff, and every time we go to an event, and we'll see at Fest, we've seen, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
But there's that one person that shows up at our tent that was supposed to show up at our tent. And she's going to be at the fish fry. We found her. We always find her. Her dad just died of suicide, and, some things. And man, we always find that one person. It ain't about selling the T-shirts, and it ain't about all that. Actually, that Fall Fun Fest was the first event we've ever sold anything, and that's fine and dandy because we have to have money to operate.
Yep.
But
Just finding that one person,
It
right?
is, but it was finding that one person, and she came right back to the website, and she's reached out, and she's actually works for Heartland Behavioral Health, so she works in the addiction field. So it's networking, it's things like that. It's finding people on the same mission.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric. Ask me a question.
No, you're hitting a lot of things.
No.
You're talking about the National Night Out.
Yeah.
I know that is, by the time this airs, I think that is already going to have happened.
Yeah.
Because it's happening here.
Yeah.
I think the week after National Night Out for the police, right?
National Night Out is this coming Tuesday.
This
It's
Tuesday.
the seventh,
Yes, this
Right,
coming
yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah.
But don't you do your own You Matter?
yeah, you have a fish fry
So
coming up.
we partner with Answering the Call, which is Ronnie Dumet.
Okay.
And Ronnie does great things. He steps up and he takes care of, I'll tell you, he's helped Brandon Claxton.
Yeah.
He's helped Claxton
Yep.
get through some things.
Yep.
Ronnie's a retired police officer at Elise Summit. We actually went to school together, and we both lived on both wrong sides of the law for a while. But whenever I started the
So
nonprofit,
Tara, but we won't go into
yeah,
that.
right.
True.
When I started this nonprofit, I called Ronnie, man, and Ronnie gives me a lot of good advice, and about the nonprofit side of things, about running the things. So he's teamed up with us, and we do the Fish Fry and Car Show on October 12th.
12th.
Okay, the 12th.
October 12th. And man, that worked last year. We just kind of threw it together because my brother's birthday is October 13th, and October 13th was on a Sunday last year. So Ronnie jumped on board, and this year we partnered with the Duran Cherry Foundation as well.
Oh, really?
They're going to have the Derek Thomas Mercedes come out,
Oh, wow.
and so it's our biggest event.
Yeah.
Is it a ticketed event?
It's not. It's a free event for the community. It's a donation-only event. Whether you're entering a car, whether you're coming to eat, there is silent auction as well, and it's another community thing. It's bring people together.
Yeah.
It's bring people together, and at the end of the day, if there's some money laying there, great. If not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the car show and fish fry, we anticipate it's going to be huge this year. Just the response that we've got from when we shut it down last year, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we're excited about that one.
Yeah.
We're excited about that.
I love a good car show.
Good car
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I do.
Bobby did the car show at the
Yeah.
Fall Fun
Yeah.
Fest.
Yeah.
So,
And it didn't rain, so.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping in here and asking questions, but you also do like an event during the summer as well too? Don't you do a fish fry during the summer?
We do a so Jason's dad, the 291 bridge at Lavelle is where Jason's dad disappeared from, and so we do around Father's Day picnic at the shelter down there, and that's always a free event, and it grows every year.
Yeah.
It grows every year, and so we go down to Lavelle once a year, and it's You Matter movement's developed a lot of traditions.
Yeah.
We've developed a lot of traditions, and we're only as good as the people that are around me.
Right.
And man, them people are great.
Yeah.
They show up, man, and they show up deep.
Yeah.
And it gives me goosebumps talking about it, because in my life, I wasn't always the strong one. I wasn't always a strong one. I didn't deal with life. I didn't deal with it. And at some point along this journey, somebody made me the strong one, and it showed a lot of people to believe in me. And I think a lot of that is being accountable. I was sick of living the way that I was living, and at the same time, my brother was struggling. You know what I mean? And that was hard for me. That some tough love stuff was going on, and all that, because, man, even today, I have to have boundaries. And I've learned that it's okay for me to have boundaries, no matter who you are.
Right.
Because don't get me wrong, whenever the You Matter thing's been thrown back at me, whenever all the help's expired, and I feel like that I can't help you no more, and then I don't matter, and so that immediately tells you a lot about a person.
Yeah.
Because if anybody knows me, knows I show up for everybody. Everybody always. So learning to deal with that end of it, because you don't ever want to see. Somebody gave me a chance, so I continue to give people a chance.
chances.
You know what I mean? I continue to be. All my employees at the restaurant, man, most of them people are broken. They're broken and they needed a chance.
Yeah.
You
remember that chance that you
were
given?
100%. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And like I started one yesterday. He's on house arrest, and he's been locked up for a really long time, but he's came out, and I'm giving him a chance.
Wow.
And I always feel like they're going to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I always feel like they're going to make it.
But you got a story to share with them too. Look, I was you. I was house arrest. I was
Right.
you can
Absolutely.
look where you can be.
If you can just get them to listen,
Right.
Just
like your kids, right? Yeah.
And if you can just get them to listen and to get out of their own head, that's what it is. And man, the outreach stuff, the success rate isn't very high, but man, I'll never quit that part.
Right.
You know, we just kind of adopted a new hotel, the Economy Inn on the outer road, the old Motel 6.
Yep.
They're doing some renovations and stuff, and somebody reached out to me because I'll help with some hotel rooms. If you got a plan, you know, I'll help you with some nights. And this lady reached out and she had a plan. Well, I got up there, man, and there's nothing in there. You know, the Welcome Inns, we do a lot of stuff at the Welcome Inns. And they've got food pantries and we feed over there. I walked in there, man, and there was nothing. And so I put her in a room a couple days and I called Alex Duvall with Many Parts One Body.
I know Alex.
Alex does a lot of feed. He does a lot of groceries and a lot of good stuff. And I called Alex and I said, hey, man, you want to help me with this? The next day he had a refrigerator there. The next day, the Sober Life came out of nowhere. I don't even know who they are. They filled up the refrigerator. And then yesterday, me and my granddaughter went and put the shelves, so they got a whole food pantry today.
That's great.
Like the hotel itself.
The hotel itself.
Yeah.
And so I took the lady from the hotel and I put her in the program at the City Union Mission, which is a 9-month program. And she'll come out of it if she
graduates.
If she graduates and she lives and she follows some direction, she'll come out with a vehicle, a savings account, a car. You know, everybody hears Salvation Army, City Union Mission, and they think bad thoughts.
Things, yeah.
See, that's the stigmas that we have to get away from. Those places are in place for a reason. They're not in place because they're not successful.
Right.
You know, but from the outside looking in, people are like, that's just homeless people. That's just a homeless shelter. Oh, don't take me to the homeless shelter. First of all, you got to quit calling it a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
You know, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough some days. You know, it's tough to carry all of it some days. That's why I have to go to the lake, Eric.
I know. Where do all those fish come from that you have those fish fries?
Things like, I mean, that's my escape.
Yeah.
Because if I stayed in town, like I was in town this week, and I worked all through Monday, and I worked all through Tuesday, just no different than you guys.
Right.
But man, just with all of it, I got to be able to at least
go
to the lake and
you got to
work.
separate.
Yeah, you do. And I when I first started the restaurant, it was 8 years straight. Just working, just putting my life back together. It was broke. It was in shambles. I had to fix it right now. And man, if the You Matter movement does anything, it's just trying to bring a little bit of light into the darkness. That's our slogan: is to bring some light into the darkness.
Anything you've got, or?
Well, I think my question is, I mean, I have no doubt that what will happen after today is somebody who watches is going to want to know, like, how do I participate, right? What can I do for you? How do I get involved? So how do we do that?
So the easiest way to get on our radar is to go to youmattermovement.org, and that's the letter U, mattermovement.org, and click on that Get Involved tab, and that'll get you on the volunteer list. And man, we can't do it without the volunteers. That's what it's all about. You know, so there's two sides of that. There's the side of people that we're helping, and then there's the volunteer side, and people do that for their heart because that's what they have to do. So there's two things, you know. The thing that I'm proudest of is our volunteers. It's last minute Saturday afternoon in the middle of summer, and hey, we're packing lunches at 2 o'clock, and we fill that banquet room up with Sandy's, and we pack 600 sandwiches and 600 bags in about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome. It's the young kids that are coming in with the, we did exceptionals the other night, and
I love that league.
Blue Springs South National Honor Society, they showed up with 20 kids, and then we had the Grit baseball team, they showed up with another 20 kids, which is really cool because Brian Bendorf's son, who was best friends with my brother's kid, was on that baseball team. You know what I mean? And just things like that. And we fed all the exceptionals. It was one of the funnest nights we've had. You know, my daughter, when she played, we used to volunteer with the exceptionals, you know, 15 years ago or whatever. But man, it's a good night out there.
And if you're not familiar with the exceptionals, so it is a baseball, softball, I think they play softball league for those with special needs. So it is a really neat, even just to go out as a spectator to support and cheer on the players is a really fun night. It has been Monday nights at Hidden Valley Park for as long as I can remember.
And it's still Monday nights. Last Monday was their last. They do 4 in the fall and 8 in the spring.
8 in the spring.
And we fed, I think we fed them 300 people hot dogs.
Yeah.
We served our 25,000th hot dog Monday night.
Oh,
since
wow.
the year.
Did you really?
Yeah, we took a donation from the Starfish Project before last summer lunch, and they've been in the freezer, and they've slowly dwindled. We've served 25,000 hot
Oh
dogs.
my goodness gracious!
That's a lot of hot dogs.
That is a lot of hot dogs.
I was so glad to see them gone.
I didn't realize that's what that program was called.
Yeah.
Because my son, their summer team would go volunteer and be a mentor.
Yep,
on the
they get to be
field.
partner up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Everybody gets a buddy.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
Yep.
it's
Man,
so
last
fun.
night or Monday night, everybody had a buddy, and
Yep.
Carmen was there. Carmen and all the volunteer crew was stacking hot dogs and feeding
Yeah.
hot dogs. And
Carmen actually texted me, so I play in a women's league on Monday nights, and she was thinking maybe I would be at the same park. She was
Yeah.
like, "Are you here? I'll come watch."
Yeah.
I was like, "No,
no, they
We
take
weren't at
every
that
field.
park,
They get
but-
one night
Yeah.
in the summer. They get 2 games, but they took fields 1 through 7 and
Just knocked it out.
Yep.
Got to play on the turf fields this
They
year."
are there. I didn't know that. That was
They
fancy
turfed
out
They
them.
got turf
Yeah.
fields out there now.
They
Kids
turfed
don't
them
even have
this
to get
summer.
dirty anymore. They don't have to laundry.
I don't know what
Yeah.
laundry.
No,
I will
car
tell you,
wash,
I don't.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would
Trash
not
bag, yeah,
miss
all of it.
having to spray out white softball pants.
I know.
So.
Yeah.
We've all done it at this table.
Man.
So.
Yeah. I'll say something about Bobby is like Bobby shows up for Sandy's. Bobby shows up for You Matter. Bobby shows up for the Chamber. Like, he just shows up.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's amazing.
It's kind of like the bat signal, right? We have the Bobby signal, right?
We do.
Just throw
Yeah,
Bobby
we have
in,
the Bobby
Bobby's gonna
signal.
be there.
You got something going on? Bobby's going to be there. So, just a very well respected person in our community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One couple things I had written down is you got collection barrels, right? So if there's
I do. They'll be going out again soon to local businesses. Like, again, it's community.
Right.
We'll start our hat, coat, sweat, warm clothes drive.
Okay.
And, man, a lot of that stuff is November 2nd. We're going to go out to Blue Summit, which is with the fire department out there. We team up with Jeff Jewell, and we do a big outreach out there. And it's warm clothes and socks. And I keep saying, man, I need to expand this thing out and make it, more metro-wide. And man, there's only one of me.
right.
Yes.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
big when you talk
and-
metro wide.
And people hear Blue Springs and they think, man, there's not a lot going on out there. It's Blue Springs.
yeah.
Let me tell you guys something. There's a lot going on out here. There's a lot of need out here, and there's a lot of resources out here that'll help you.
Yeah.
That'll help you.
And I think you think that of anywhere, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Blue Springs, it's Lee Summit,
Right.
it's Green Valley, or it's Olathe. I mean,
Right.
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You just-
100%.
You just don't think it is, but it is everywhere. The lunch program, you kind of touched on it. I think that is awesome. You said 16,000
Yeah,
meals.
18,000 and some change over 2 years.
2 years, yeah. I know on your website.
And the need keeps increasing.
Yeah, and
Well,
we,
think about it, because you had 82 lunches in 2024.
and then broke 10,000 this year.
Exactly. That's what I was just
Wow.
going to say.
And we're gonna team up with the school district, and we're gonna start pulling. A big need this year was, we go to the 2 hotels and some apartment communities in Blue Springs. Well, I started getting phone calls from neighborhoods, and so we do a Sunday pickup from people out of the neighborhoods. So this year, we're gonna team up with the school district and do some pickup points out of the neighborhoods hopefully at the elementary schools. And well, I don't know what it looks like yet, but I've got a plan, and I'm going to go throw it at them and
See what they
happens.
say.
But there's a lot of support there too.
Yeah.
But I think we these are the school district's kids, and I think we need to get them as involved as
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my goal for the next summer lunch, is kind of restructure some things, and because there's a lot of adults being fed in there too, and they'll continue to get fed, but we need to reach some more of them kids, because
Correct.
it doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or if you
Right.
live in the house, man. That needs are still there.
Right.
The
Exactly.
refrigerators are empty.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
anybody goes to the store, you know that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Cost me $46 to make tacos the other night, and I had the meat.
holy
You
cow.
know,
Yeah,
you know?
that's
yeah.
so
I mean,
true.
that's real.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to buy ground beef.
I hear you. I'm the same way. You go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
There, I mean, it is just outrageous.
Yeah.
So, one thing, Bobby, like I said, I went out and looked at your website, and there are a lot of resources out on your website. So, if there are podcasts out there, there's videos out
Yeah.
there, there's books out there. So, I assume, right, if somebody's hearing this, watching this podcast, and you're struggling, there is something on this website other than reach out to Bobby.
Yeah.
There are things on the website that you can go.
There are a lot of resources, a lot of clicks, a lot of podcast clicks, books, local community resources.
Right.
And we also do pay for counseling. We team up with the Authentic Life Foundation out of Independence and Raytown, and they pay for counseling for people without insurance, and we also help with that as far as co-pays and that sort of thing as well. So I think we've got 3 in counseling right now.
Okay.
And seems to say about 2 or 3, but. Yeah. Hey, you never graduate that,
Right.
So yeah, we're here for the community as far as whatever you need. Yeah. We're not stuck on just feeding people or just talking addiction. We're there.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, I think that's great. Because like I said, some people are just ashamed or embarrassed to reach out.
Right.
And so if you can go to the website, hey, just if you could, just that one person.
Yeah.
You said it earlier. It's just one person. If you can reach just one person, That's a win, right?
Yeah, it is a win.
Yeah. You want to reach more,
right?
But just,
that's a win. You can't save everybody. That's what I say. All this stuff that's going on around us. You're talking about all your insurance world and all your investment world, and even my little restaurant world. There's nothing I can do about the restaurant industry. Right. There's nothing you can do overall about. Nope. But man, what we can do is we can make this little piece of the world that we get a better place. Yeah. And that's what it starts. It starts with us 3.
Right.
And then you branch out and you do something, and then you branch out and you do something. Well, all of a sudden our little world is in pretty decent shape.
Right.
Because we can't do anything about all that big stuff. Everybody trying to take over the world.
Right.
That's why all
the noise.
The noise. We'll go with the noise.
Yeah. Right.
Your wording was way better than mine.
Well, and I've always felt if you want to affect change, you start
small.
Locally, right? You start here in your community. Start in your household and then move out.
100%. We're all just given just a little space in this world.
Yeah.
And to me, that's all I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's all I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
If I can touch it, I'm responsible for it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bobby, that is awesome, by the way. And thank you for everything you do.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes.
No, I learned so much today. And I know at the Fall Fun Fest last weekend, or was the last week, I can't remember what the Fall Fun Fest was.
2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, maybe. 2
I got
weekends ago.
Visit with you a little bit more, and so I kind of knew a little bit about the You Matter movement. And
hey, you said it right.
I did say it right. I know.
We're good.
So anyway, anything else you'd like to add today, or any other questions?
No, I mean, Bobby's got some shoes this community's going to have to fill someday, and that's going to be a tough. I'm sitting here thinking, boy, I don't do enough. I got to go do some more. Gosh,
I'm like, tricked you.
Okay, Bobby,
just like that. Yep.
Yeah. So.
It's a blessing because all these it looks big on the outside. It looks big to me, but man, whenever we get down in it, it all runs itself and it all takes care of itself. Yeah. It needed a face.
Right.
Okay, it needed a face, and I'm willing to go talk to people and network it. And I used to have to go look for things for the You Matter movement.
Right.
And now I can show you my October calendar this month. And it's all coming in now.
Right.
So now
you don't have to go find it.
No, I don't have to go find anything. Whether it's the podcast or I go speak at Rotary next week. Yeah. So there's a lot of networking stuff. Yeah. Rotary and Girl Scouts. So I go from Rotary Wednesday afternoon to talk to a Girl Scout troop Wednesday night. Right. And to me, that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome because that's touching everybody.
Right. That's the adults, the business.
Now the Rotary would get a different speech than the kids.
Right. Exactly.
With the kids, I talk a lot about mindset and what are you telling yourself and what are you reading and what are you putting in your head, because whatever you're putting in your head, well, I don't care if it's rap music. What are you telling yourself when you wake up? Right. All your self-talk. What's going on? Right. That's what I preach to the kids.
Yeah. You're good enough.
Kids are broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids are broken. Yeah. They're broken and they're lost.
Yeah. And I wouldn't disagree with that.
So, it's 2 different speeches, but man, what a good day this is.
They're both powerful, right?
Yeah, right.
So, well, I think that puts a wrap on episode 13. Bobby, that was, I think, out of all our podcasts, I think that's probably one of the most powerful podcasts we've had.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You deserve it. Well, like I said, that puts a wrap on episode 13. Yep. Hey, if you're new here, hey, and you like what you heard today, and when you go back and check some of our older podcasts, like I said, this is episode 13. We got 12 other ones back there you can watch. And so feel free to go, you can find them out on YouTube under ECS Capital Investments. I also post it also to my Facebook page, ECS Capital Investments. I don't know if you've got it anywhere out there, but those are two places that you can find our older podcasts. Like I said, that's going to put a wrap on episode 13. I'm Eric Sporing with ECS Capital Investments, Tara Lavelle, Von Fire Insurance, Bobby Hines with the You Matter movement.
And he said it right.
Yeah, I said it right as we're exiting. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you back for episode 14. Thank you.